Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all. Welcome to Perlis online teaching, powered by Sektor Sumber Teknologi Pendidikan Negeri Perlis. And let me first introduce myself. I am Puan ISMAIZAH binti Ismail, and right now I'm teaching English at SMKA Agama Perempuan KANGAR Perlis. So now we will take a short break for the recitation of doa.
Dengan segala kerendahan diri. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahilladzi bini'matihi tatimmus salihat. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma aghnina bil ilm wa zayyinna bil hilm wa akrimna bit taqwa wa jammilna bil afiyah. Ya Rahmanu ya Rahim, kami mohon kepadamu dengan segala kerendahan diri sebagai hamba-Mu. Engkau indahkanlah akhlak kami, Engkau perbaikilah pergaulan antara kami, Engkau jadikanlah kami umat Islam yang menjadi teladan yang baik antara sekalian manusia. Engkau peliharalah kami dari penyakit lemah, malas, berfikiran dangkal dan buruk budi pekerti. Ya Rahmanu ya Wadud, Engkau baikilah keluarga kami, anak isteri kami, saudara mara kami, jiran tetangga kami dan seluruh mereka yang kami kasihi. Engkau jadikanlah kami umat yang mempunyai ketinggian akal dan budi, mempunyai minda yang unggul dalam menguruskan kehidupan ini dan menjadi teladan yang baik kepada manusia yang lain. Ya Allah, jadikanlah negeri Perlis ini sebagai negeri yang makmur, rakyatnya hebat, mantap, bermentaliti kelas pertama dalam tindakan, hidup bersih, bersatu padu dan dilimpahi berkat serta rahmat dari sisi-Mu. Engkau jauhkanlah kami dari bala dan kerosakan. Engkau tambahkanlah nikmat-Mu kepada kami. Engkau berikanlah kepada kami kebahagiaan hidup di dunia dan di hari akhirat. Ya Mujibas Sa'ilin, permudahkanlah urusan kami dalam menimba ilmu pengetahuan. Lapangkanlah dada dan terangkanlah hati kami untuk memahami isi pengajaran. Hiasilah diri kami dengan adab kesopanan. Muliakanlah kami dengan ketakwaan. Segarkanlah badan kami dengan kesihatan yang berpanjangan. Dan berkatilah hidup kami dengan keredaan-Mu. Allahumma inna na'udzubika minal barasi wal jununi wal juzam wa min sayyi'il asqam. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
All right, so we are done with the prayer. So now I would like you to refer to the chat box. If you are with me on the Zoom platform or you are with me in the Google Meet, please check the chat box and look at the link provided there. So I'm going to give you like a few seconds to register. Yeah, then we will proceed with our slot for today. Right, I hope you have registered. Thank you very much. Now for today, you are going to be with me and we will look at the speaking paper. Yeah? And for this year, for the year 2021, for all SPM candidates, they will be sitting for a paper which is slightly new in terms of format. Yeah? Now previously, we have only two papers, the reading and also the writing. Yeah. Now this year, starting from this year, we have actually 4 papers. And today, I would be discussing with you the speaking paper. Yeah. All right, before we go any further, I have a very interesting quote here, yeah, by the famous inventor Alexander Graham Bell, yeah. Now, he says, before anything else, preparation is the key to success. So while you are here with me today, this morning, spending your 1 hour with me, is because we are making that preparation. We are preparing ourselves in order to excel in our speaking paper. Yeah? And preparation here means knowing what to expect. Yeah? Because the paper is a new paper, so we need to know what we are facing, yeah, in order to come out or to ace the paper. Right. This morning, inshallah, yeah, if time permits, I would like to cover a few aspects of the speaking paper. Okay, so number one would be the format. We will look at it together. Number two, the assessment criteria. Okay, how the examiners award marks, what they are looking at. Yeah, so candidates need to know in order to be able to perform at their best. All right, and we will also look at sample questions, questions which are taken from the booklet provided by the lembaga peperiksaan, and last but not least would be some tips to help you with your speaking. Right. Let us look at the outline of the SPM speaking test. Yeah. Now, whenever I use the term speaking test, I'm referring to the speaking paper. As you can see, the code given to our speaking paper would be 1119/3. Yeah. Now, stroke 1 would be for the reading paper. Stroke 2 would be for writing, and stroke 3. Speaking, stroke 4, listening. So I believe this year, all the SPM candidates, they have a very huge challenge in terms of the number of papers that they have to sit for the English subject. Yeah? But nonetheless, I believe effort would prevail. Yeah? If you put in effort, inshallah, God willing, you will be able to excel. Okay? And look at the time given. You are given approximately 13 minutes. Okay? So 30 minutes is actually quite short. But I need you to bear in mind, yeah, the number of minutes here, even though it is quite short, carries a lot of marks. Yeah? The percentage given is 25%, equals to reading and also writing paper. So please consider that. Yeah. So in other words, what I'm saying here is that if you have been doing very well for the other two papers, reading and writing, I believe you need to also do well in the two remaining papers. Yeah, particularly speaking. Because not many of us, yeah, especially students, yeah, candidates, SPM candidates, they speak in English. So speaking is like a rusty skill. Yeah. So let us go to the next information that we have here. Number of parts. Yeah. Now the paper is divided into 3 parts. Okay. So what are the 3 parts? Would be number 1, a simple interview, a brief interview actually. Yeah. And number 2 would be slightly more challenging, which is an individual long turn based on text. Okay, a text would be provided or a stimulus would be provided in order to guide candidates. Okay, we will look at it afterwards. Yeah. Now next would be a discussion based on mind map stimulus. So as we proceed from part 1, part 2 and part 3, you can see the level of difficulty is going slightly higher. So the challenge is there, yeah? From a simple interview to a slightly longer response to a discussion with a partner. Yeah, and the last bullet here would be a further discussion task. Yeah, and weightage or the weighting given here would be 25%, which is a lot. Yeah, so please take the speaking paper seriously. Right, here I have the booklet. Alright, so the questions and what I would be sharing with you today would be taken from this booklet. Format pentaksiran bahasa Inggeris yang dijajarkan kepada CEFR. So CEFR is not something new. I believe in our previous slot for POT, yeah, Perlis online teaching, like Mr. Shafiq, yeah, Mr. Zahir, they have touched on this. Yeah, so CEFR is what we are using now, yeah, in order to assess all our students. Right, let us go straight into the examination room layout. Okay, now as you can see here, for speaking, the minute you enter the examination room, this would be the position. Okay, if you are candidate A and candidate B, the speaking test will be carried out in pairs. So you will have a partner. But I believe this is not something new. Yeah, you have gone through your oral assessment test or oral assessment when you were in Form 3. So the layout is similar. You will be tested in pairs. Yeah, you will sit in front of one examiner. Yeah, and the examiner will be, we will label, or the examiner is known as interlocutor. Yeah, so I use the short form INT there, yeah, to refer to the examiner, known as the interlocutor. Okay, now on further end of the table, the candidates table, yeah, slightly to one side of the table, you will have another examiner, the second examiner. And the second examiner here, in the diagram here, is labeled as ASR. Yeah, so this would be the assessor. Yeah, so these two would be awarding you marks. Alright, now if you look at the information provided here, assessor would be someone, a teacher appointed by the examination sector of the respective state, yeah, education department. So if you are in Perlis, then the teacher would be appointed by the Perlis education department, yeah. So this assessor would be someone totally new to you, yeah, you have not met her or him. Okay, now as for the interlocutor, this is a familiar face, would be one of your teachers, could be the teacher teaching you English or another teacher in your school. Alright, so please do not be afraid of the examiners, they are there to help you. Yeah, so please respond and give them your best cooperation. Okay, now we are going into the paper, yeah, the format of the paper. So this is part 1, and part 1 would take up 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, now remember this is a brief interview. So examiners would be asking questions. Now let me make it clear. The one that will be doing the questioning would be the interlocutor, the teacher from your school, and she would be sitting right in front of you. Now assessor would not be asking any questions. Yeah, he or she would just be observing, listening attentively, and awarding marks. Yeah, So you need to be able to speak out and let yourself be heard. Yeah. Now for the interview section, part 1, they will ask, the interlocutor would ask general question. Yeah. Why is this so? Because to make you feel at ease. I'm sure all of us are quite nervous, especially when we are sitting for an examination or an assessment. Yeah. So speaking is definitely something that is nerve-wracking. Yeah. So this is how the interlocutor would put you to ease. Okay. Now look at the question asked. There will be 2 phases here. Phase 1, candidates would talk about their personal information. Why do I say this? Because of the questions asked. Yeah. So the interlocutor would ask you, what's your name? So that is very straightforward. I'm sure everybody can give his or her name. Yeah, without much difficulty. Yeah. The question can be, where do you live? Yeah. So one question is asked for a candidate. So each candidate would get one question from the interlocutor, a different question. Yeah. And how do you come to school? So all these are simple questions about yourself, something personal. For phase 2, candidates would talk about their daily routines. Yeah? So from information regarding yourself, you proceed to something that is slightly different, but still within the scope of personal information. What do you do? Routines. Yeah? So that is quite simple also. Now, for example, what do you normally do after you wake up? Yeah? To me, this is quite simple. Yeah. So what do you do? Answer the question. Yeah. And how do you spend your leisure time? Okay, some candidates might have a problem with the word leisure, but again, try. Yeah. Try to comprehend the meaning of the word leisure. Okay, and try to answer. That's why I believe practice makes perfect. If you have been active in class, if you have been participating, all right, I'm sure you wouldn't face much of a problem. Okay? Right. Now, do you notice the information given on the left side of the screen? Now, candidates are required to. I purposely put this up so that as candidates, you know what you need to do. Yeah, so for part 1, these would be the things required from the candidates. Okay, now interlocutor and assessor will be looking at you and asking, is the candidate able to give factual information about his or herself? Yeah, is the candidate able to talk about the routine asked? Yeah, is the candidate able to express his or her opinion? Yeah, and so on and so forth. Yeah, right. Okay, now we are moving into part 2. Now, part 2, the word candidate, the phrase candidate booklet. Okay, now the information given in the blue box there, the light blue, would be what the candidate get in their booklet. So we have a pair there, meaning one is candidate A, another one is candidate B. So for candidate A, you will get a stimulus, yeah, on family celebration. So this is what you will see on your paper or in the candidate's booklet. Okay, right. So look at the question there. Talk about a family celebration you had recently. You should say in your response, yeah, this is the individual long-term response. Why long-term response? Because of the way the question is put forward. You should say what the event was, what you did there. If you enjoyed yourself, why or why not? Yeah, and why family celebrations are important in Malaysia. So I believe all the bullets here warrant you to give a slightly longer response. You can't just say yes and no and that's it. Yeah, you need to be able to explain yourself. Yeah, and again, please observe the information on the left side of the screen. What candidates are required to do. Yeah. Okay, so give information of a non-personal kind. Yeah, non-personal because you're moving away. From part 1 is about you. Part 2, you are moving beyond that. You're going outside. Yeah, so non-personal kind would be opinions on topics. Yeah, things that happens around you. Yeah, right. So you can proceed to read the information given here, yeah, what the candidates are required to do. And I would like to point out that you are given just 20 seconds to prepare. Yeah, after you have looked at the booklet, you are given 20 seconds to prepare, and that's it. Once the 20 seconds is up, the interlocutor, yeah, would ask you to respond. And you are given 1 minute to do so, yeah, to each candidate. And while the candidate A is presenting or responding, candidate B should also be listening, because later there will be one question asked to candidate B. Yeah, all right. So look at the example then. For candidate A, this would be what the interlocutor, yeah, would say to candidate A. I would like you to talk about a family celebration you had recently. Then off you go. Yeah, and the time would be ticking away. 1 minute. Yeah, so candidate B, do not switch off. Yeah, now you can't say, oh, this is not being asked to me, I can just relax. No, you need to also listen. Yeah, because later you need to respond to a similar topic, yeah, which is on family celebration. Yeah, all right. So for candidate B, the question asked by the interlocutor would be, what was the last celebration you had? Yeah, and did you have a good time? Why? Yeah, notice that the question why is appearing quite a few times here. Yeah, so this is to suit your level. As a Form 5 students, I believe you are more or less able to explain. Now, if you have difficulty with that, don't worry. Yeah, it's high time that you do something about it and start practicing with friends and with the help of your English teachers. Now, we are looking at Candidates B booklet. Okay, so the same amount of time is given. And again, look at the questions given in the booklet. Now you notice 2 candidates would be getting 2 different topics. Candidate A about family celebration, candidate B a person that you admire. Yeah, and you can look at the question asked, a bit similar, yeah, even though the topic is slightly different. So talk about a person you admire. Who is this person? What this person looks like? Yeah, so you can more or less practice now with a partner. Yeah, how would you describe a person? What kind of words you can use? Yeah, why you admire this person? If you think it is important for people to have good role models, why? Yeah. Now remember, you have only 20 seconds. Yeah? So some of the questions are quite tough, especially the last one. But this is not a reason not to do well. Yeah? Right. Again, look at the last question asked to the candidate. So for candidate B, the question asked is, I would like you to talk about a person you admire. So the candidate would respond to all the questions listed above, the bullets. Candidate A, though you have done your part, you still need to be involved, yeah? Because you need to answer a question after candidate B is done. Yeah, after the interlocutor is done with candidate B, she or he would turn to you and ask a question. Who do you admire? So don't be surprised, yeah, if the interlocutor asks you a question, yeah, because you thought your part is over and done with, yeah. All right, so please give your cooperation and answer the question. And why? Why do you admire the person? Right. Now we are moving into part 3. Now this would be what the candidate will look at in their booklet. Okay. Now the discussion task would be about 4 to 5 minutes. And if you look at the question given here, this is the mind map stimulus that I have mentioned earlier. Okay, you will be asked about why do people shop online, and there are 6 reasons given here. No crowds, yeah, time saving, better prices, convenient, wide variety, and last but not least, follow the trend. Okay, now if you get this kind of question for part 3, what you should be doing, don't panic, look at the reasons given or the points given. For discussion, I think you can discuss with your partner earlier, yeah, or maybe discuss silently, divide the reasons given there. Okay, now we will look at it afterwards, yeah, in detail. But I would like to point out here that you are given 20 seconds to prepare. So 20 seconds is quite short. If you are not really organized, you might have some problems there. Yeah, it might be a bit disorganized in the sense that you might not cover all the points given. Okay, so if possible, divide equally between you and your partner, yeah? And 3 minutes are given for candidates to discuss. Now, discussion would be entirely on your own, yeah? The interlocutor would not be involved. She would just mention that you can start the discussion and you are on your own, you and your partner. Okay, so don't be shy, don't be too afraid to begin, yeah? Someone needs to begin the discussion, and there should be a response, active participation from both candidate A and candidate B. Okay, now again look at what the candidates are required to do. Please have a quick glance of the bullets there, and if you notice, the requirements are getting higher. You need to be able to explain and give reasons, exchange information and opinions, yeah, what you like and what you don't like, preferences, maybe talking about experiences, yeah, and habits. Yeah, it depends on what kind of question you get for the mind map stimulus. Alright, so here we are talking about online shopping, which is, I think, to most teenagers like you, students, you are very familiar with and good at. Yeah? Okay. Express and justify opinions. Yeah? Now, this bullet is definitely a higher thinking order here. You need to be able to justify, give reasons why. Yeah? So definitely some amount of thinking here. Yeah, it is not straightforward like the interview just now. Okay, and negotiate agreement. Negotiate would be like a discussion, but done in a very organized manner. You can't be emotional. Yeah, even though you are with friends. Yeah, the partner is your friend, but you can't be emotional. Yeah, now remember you are being assessed. Yeah, so I believe you need to be able to maintain that, suitable conduct. Okay, so negotiate nicely. That is how I'm going to put it. Okay? And make and respond to suggestions. Maybe your partner suggests something else. So you need to be able to respond, agree, disagree. If you disagree, you need to put it nicely. Yeah? And discuss alternatives, if there are alternatives that you can think of. Okay, so for part 3 here, what we have here would be the rubrics given by the interlocutor. Yeah? The instructions and the questions asked. Right? Now let us look at the one in pink. Now I would like you to talk about something together for about 3 minutes. Yeah? Now this would be what the interlocutor would be saying. Now remember, interlocutor would be a scripted rubric. Scripted in the sense that it is not their own sentences. Okay? The rubrics are provided, so they need to follow strictly in order to be fair to all the candidates. Yeah? The task will have 2 parts, so you listen attentively and please focus. Yeah? In the first part, you will discuss something with each other for about 2 minutes. So this is very clear. I purposely put it in red so that you will pay attention to it. 2 minutes only for the discussion. Then, in the second part, you will have another minute to make a decision together. Come to an agreement if possible. Yeah? Alright, let's begin with the discussion task. So it's like, I am, let's say, if I were the interlocutor, this is what I would be saying to you. Yeah? So number 1 would be the question asked by the interlocutor. Just now, just instructions. Online shopping is gaining popularity in our country. Now, talk to each other about the reasons why people shop online. So you need to discuss. Yeah, you can't say, oh, I'm not going to speak, I'm not going to say anything, yeah? So this would definitely cost you marks, yeah? Okay, so that's why I believe that you need to have some sort of a practice before you actually sit for the speaking paper, so that you are more aware, you know what to expect, less nervousness, yeah, better prepared. Okay, now number 2, the interlocutor would say, now you have about a minute to decide together. So let's say you have talked for about 2 minutes, and then the interlocutor would mention this to you. Now she would follow the stopwatch strictly. Okay, if you exceed the 2 minutes, she would stop you. Yeah, politely. Okay, right. So you have 1 minute to come to a consensus, agree. Okay, which is the most popular reason people shop online, followed by the last question. So after the 1 minute is over, another question is given. You have been talking about why people shop online now. Let's hear your opinion on this. On what? In what ways does advertising on social media influence people's buying behavior? Okay? So if you have been doing a bit of online shopping, I'm sure you can use your own experience. Right? I hope everybody can follow me. Now we are going into the assessment. Yeah? Now as for the assessment, in order to give you a clearer idea what I have mentioned earlier, how the test would be carried out, you can actually go to YouTube and search for various speaking test videos. So this would be just an example. Now this would be the assessment criteria. Now there is a lot of information here, but let us just go straight into okay, the CEFR level. Yeah. So as you know, as you are very aware, CEFR would refer to the Common European Framework of Reference. Yeah. So this would be the short form. Yeah, so we just mentioned CEFR. Okay. Now for all kind of assessment, okay, the assessment criteria used in SPM speaking, yeah, this is one example, derived from the CEFR, so from A2 to C1. Now we are so used to the idea that if it's an A, then it is the best. Yeah, now, it is completely the opposite for CEFR. If it begins with an A, like A1 and A2, you are actually the lowest, basic user. You can use English, but basic, yeah, basic ability, okay. Now, B1 and B2, you will be in the middle, independent. You have the ability to use it, yeah, slightly better compared to the first group, just now, basic user. And the highest would be proficient, okay, so this will be marked by C1 and C2, so C2 being the highest. As for our speaking paper, the scoring would be based from band 1 to band 6. Okay, now do not be confused with our PBD, that is a different matter altogether. Yeah, this is the scoring band given to speaking test or the speaking paper. So let's say if you get 0 out of 6, you get 0, meaning candidate does not produce sufficient language to be assessed. Candidate repeatedly uses language or languages other than English. So the use of mother tongue, yeah. So I would advise that if you have this tendency to use your mother tongue, yeah, frequently while speaking, what you can do is practice a bit more with a partner so that you can control, avoid from using other words other than English, yeah, because we are afraid you might not get any marks there, yeah. And if you are given band score 1, meaning you can give basic information on familiar and routine matters. I take for example our part 1 interview just now, that brief interview, okay, right. And the highest would be definitely 6. What is 6? Look at the descriptor there. Can ask and respond to questions and suggestions, including those on abstract and complex topic. So abstract and complex would be, for example, giving opinion and justification on online shopping. Okay? Can use language flexibly and effectively for social, academic and professional purposes. Yeah? So definitely you can see the margin there from one end to another. Yeah, that would differentiate between band 1 to band 6 speakers. Okay, now we are going to look at the assessment. How the examiners, yeah, remember just now I have mentioned there are 2 examiners. One is an interlocutor and the other one is an assessor. The interlocutor would be awarded or would be given a maximum marks of 6, 1 to 6. Yeah, so 6 would be maximum. And she or he would be looking at the overall spoken performance. Yeah, the second examiner, the assessor, all right, she would be doing an analytical assessment. So the word analytical is definitely more specific compared to overall. Yeah, so she would be looking at grammar, vocabulary, and communicative competence, right? And in her hands, yeah, she or he would have maximum 18, which is a lot compared to the interlocutor. So I believe you need to really impress both examiners, your teacher, the interlocutor, as well as the outside teacher. I use the word outside because she would be an English teacher from a different school, not your own school. Yeah, so you need to really impress them both in order to get as many marks as possible. Okay, so you might ask me, teacher, what do you mean by communicative competence? So this would be a simple explanation just to give you an idea. Yeah. Now we are not going into it in detail because you are not going to award the marks. Yeah. The examiners will. Yeah. So we just leave it to the examiners, but we need to have a clear idea. What are they looking at? Yeah. What will they be searching for when you speak? So when we talk about grammar, it refers to candidates' ability to communicate accurately with control of grammatical structures and the ability to link utterances with cohesive devices. So I purposely underline certain phrases, yeah, so that you would pay attention to this. Communicate accurately, able to control or use grammar structures correctly. Okay, so whenever we have exercises in class, especially exercises taken from the textbook, please take them seriously, yeah, because your teachers are polishing your grammar parts. Okay, so if you have good command of grammar, good grasp of grammar, I'm sure, yeah, when you speak, it wouldn't be much of a problem. Yeah. And next would be cohesive devices. Yeah. So whether there is a flow in what you're saying from the first sentence to the next sentence. Are you clear in your line of argument? Right? Vocabulary refers to candidates' ability to use vocab, yeah, or vocabulary to convey meaning. So your choice of words, yeah. Now we have students who have very good grasp of vocab. They have bombastic words, sophisticated words, yeah. Now you may use them if you are really sure of the meaning, yeah, because it shows your speaking ability, yeah. But if you are so and so, yeah, you can keep it to simple vocabulary as long as the message is put across. Yeah, the next person or the person that you're speaking to understands you. I think that would be good enough. Yeah, rather than being a bit ambitious. Now you can be ambitious in class when you are doing your speaking practice. By all means, yeah, experiment with the vocabs that you want to try out. Yeah, to see whether it's correct or not, can be used correctly or not. Yeah, but during examination, I believe you should only use words that you have tested. Yeah, all right. Now the last one would be communicative competence. So what do we mean by this? This refers to the extent a candidate is able to produce naturally flowing speech, meaning fluent. But of course, when we speak, it's just normal that we pause at times, yeah? Not a long pause, yeah? So very fluent. To sustain a conversation despite hesitation, to make their meaning clear, and to clarify the meaning of others. Yeah? So definitely this is a higher order, yeah? Thinking skill, a much complex ability, but can be polished and can be cultivated. Yeah, if you give it a try, I believe we can work this out, yeah, with the help of your teachers. Now let's go to the tips for speaking. Now as tip for speaking, I have actually divided it into two. We are going to look at tips given during the speaking test. Okay, remember I have mentioned the 3 parts just now. So the tips would go according to the parts, yeah. Now as for part 1, okay, part 1 is the brief interview. I believe whatever questions asked by the interlocutor, just answer straight away, answer directly. Okay, now for this part 1 and part 2, please maintain a good eye contact with the interlocutor. Okay, because you are speaking, when you are speaking, I believe you want to have that eye contact. So you can build the rapport, you can build the confidence. Yeah? So have a good eye contact. Do not just look at the table, look down to the floor. Yeah? Try, okay, to have a good eye contact so that you look more, I believe you are more confident and convincing in what you're saying. Then speak up. Most of us, we have very soft voice. Boys, I'm sure, yeah, it wouldn't be much of a problem, but for girls, yeah, since I come from all-girls school, most of my students are quite soft-spoken. So I always tell my girls to speak up. If you cannot speak up, speak loud enough to be heard, then how are the examiners going to award you marks? To be fair, yeah, so you need to be heard. Okay, this also needs practice. Okay, we try to project our voice, speak louder. Okay, so for part 1, like I have mentioned just now, just answer straight to the point the question asked. The question asked for name wouldn't be much of a problem. What do you do every morning? Just answer straight away. For part 2, yeah, if you have this kind of question, what or how are you going to go about answering? Now, look at the tips here. Identify the keywords or phrases. So here would be the one in red. Okay, you need to talk about what am I supposed to talk about? Clear, family celebration. You had recently. The minute you see the word recently, you know that you need to be careful with your tenses. That will be tips number 2. What tense are you going to use here? Present or past? So the clue is there already. Yeah? Now you need to answer in past. Yeah? Use simple sentences. So again, it's up to the candidate. Yeah, if you are more comfortable using simple sentences, I'm talking about this is in general class. Yeah, it depends on you. Yeah, because majority of our candidate students, they are moderate and below. Yeah, we might have proficient speakers, but not that many. Yeah, so you know yourself better. So this is just a general tips to help you. Use simple sentences. Yeah, if the question asks what the event was, straight away answer and follow the hierarchy of the question. You follow the sequence. Because the minute you jumble up everything, you might miss out. And there goes your points or your marks. We wouldn't want that to happen. Okay? What you did there. And the last one would be if you enjoyed yourself, why? So a bit of explanation. Okay, so if you look at the tips listed there, don't forget to describe. When you describe something, definitely you need to use adjectives. Yeah, your collections of adjectives, verbs and adverbs. Maybe certain verbs, vivid verbs. Yeah, and explain the reasons. Yeah, when you explain, you use because in the sentence. So make sure in that simple sentence you have the word because. Yeah, then for sure you are giving a reason there. Okay, right. Why family celebrations are important in Malaysia? Okay, and be prepared to answer on the same topic given to your partner. I have mentioned this earlier about being an active listener. You do not switch off during your speaking test. Even though you are not being asked by the interlocutor, you need to be involved. Yeah, listen, because later there will be a question asked or posted to you by the interlocutor. Okay, for part 3, this would be my tips. Yeah, the one in red there, in the blue box, would be a slightly different tips compared to the previous slide. Part 1 and part 2. Okay, for part 3, since the question is on the mind map, yeah, you need to be able to stay focused on the task. Yeah. Now there would be, to me, the discussion part is quite long, in the sense that there will be a few questions asked. Yeah. So you need to be clear on what you should be doing. You and your partner, whoever the person is. Yeah. So listen to the question posted carefully. Listen to the interlocutor. Focus on what she's asking you. Yeah. Divide the points or reasons equally. This is just a suggestion. Yeah. Since you have 6 points there, 6 reasons, you can divide equally. One candidate shall take 3 points. Yeah. So you discuss quietly with your partner which or what are the points that you would like to cover. Work out, yeah, with your partner. Okay. And then what tense are you going to use? So again, here you need to be very careful. Okay. Now, since the topic is on online shopping, I believe you need to use the present tenses. Yeah. It's a current topic. Something that's still going on, a very popular trend nowadays, buying things from just using the internet service, yeah, online, okay, from Shopee, Lazada, and so on, okay. And then the last one, the last tip, which is slightly different, would be identify the keywords or phrases and elaborate. So this would refer to the reasons given. Okay, for example, some candidate, they might have a problem with meaning of words, like convenient. Not sure what convenient is. Yeah, maybe the other candidate knows. Yeah, so work smart. Maybe the candidate who knows the meaning can explain first, and from there, since you are listening to it, yeah, actively involved. Oh, I see. The word convenient means this. Yeah, so you have an idea to proceed with the discussion. Okay, you cannot ask the interlocutor. That is a no-no. Yeah, because she is not allowed actually to help you. Yeah, right. So far so good. I hope, yeah, you can follow me. Right now we are going into tips on speaking. Okay, just now specifically while doing the speaking test, or sitting for the speaking paper. Now we are looking at tips on speaking in general. So I believe number one, how you are able to control your nervousness. Okay, speaking from my own personal experience, I'm the kind of person who is very nervous. Yeah, but with the help of my teachers when I was a student, yeah. And now since I'm a teacher myself, I'm able to control that nervousness better, yeah, but still it's there, yeah, right. So learn to control yourself. There are many tips that you can use. Some use this breathing method, yeah, it might work on you, or you can just pretend like you are talking to the wall, there's no one watching. That's another good tips, yeah. Number two is to have that eye contact. I'm sure in the audience, the interlocutor would be someone friendly. So look at her or look at him, yeah? And don't be afraid to maintain that eye contact, okay? Number three is to project your voice. Project your voice meaning speak louder. Remember just now I have mentioned, if you are not heard, then how are you going to get your marks or the grade that you deserve? Okay, so please speak up. Yeah. Number four is to be polite in language and demeanor. I don't think it costs you anything to be polite, and if you are polite, people tend to take a liking towards you. Yeah, so I think interlocutor would be more generous. I'm not saying by being polite you get more marks, but definitely that will be a bonus. Yeah, and don't forget to smile. Yeah, when you smile, like it eats up, or you become more relaxed. Yeah, so smile more often to the examiners, yeah, interlocutor as well as the assessor, and have a positive attitude towards speaking. Now this is my general comment for most students, yeah, when it comes to speaking, especially since we are using English, most of us have a very negative attitude, like you're showing off, yeah. So foster a more positive attitude towards speaking. Then only speaking becomes manageable. Yeah, you can see an improvement in your speaking ability if you yourself set in your heart to be more positive towards it. Yeah. Now, how can you be more positive? I believe if by having the correct group of friends that can support you when it comes to speaking. And this brings me to my last tips here. Number 7, practice. Okay, now you can practice with a friend if you have a good friend, yeah, but since we are under MCO here, movement control order, we will be alone at home. So you can still do the practice by maybe recording yourself using your handphone, or use a mirror and speak. Choose any topic under the sun. For example, maybe on selfie. Do you like taking selfie? Why do you like taking selfie? Yeah, so this can be a topic for 3 minutes. Record yourself speaking without any form of text. Yeah, do not write down a piece of paper, because in exam, you are not allowed to take with you a piece of paper to write on. So all that you have will be just you. Yeah, so you can practice this. And as the saying goes, practice makes perfect. I believe in hard work will finally pay off. Yeah, so that would be my list of tips. And this would be my summary. Yeah, on what we have actually covered. Part 1, Part 2, yeah, I will give you a few minutes to look at it. This is like a recap and on what I have been saying. Okay. And Part 3, right? So if you want to have more information about the speaking paper, you can always ask your respective English teachers. Okay, because you need to sit for the speaking paper next year in February. Yeah, so we still have a lot of time to actually equip ourselves, yeah, and to be better prepared. Okay, right. So I'm coming towards the end of my presentation today, sharing session with you. So I believe that all of us, yeah, given the present situation, the pandemic, yeah, we need to make a choice here to choose joy over sadness. And you might be having problems of your own, yeah, but choose joy, yeah, so that life is more worthwhile, yeah. And as for students, candidates of SPM 2021, you are able to focus more on your examination. Yeah, even though there are challenges, but choose joy. Yeah, over everything else. Stop making excuses. Yeah, right now we are having online classes, so don't make any excuses. Okay, push yourself a bit more. Give yourself that motivation to soldier on. Yeah, believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. With the help of your friends, with the help of your teachers, support and love from your family, believe in yourself that you can make it. Yeah? And be brave. That would be my last advice to you. Right? So, I think that's all from me today. Right? Do we have any questions? No questions? If you want to ask me anything, you can just type out And if I have the ability or the knowledge, I would try to answer. Yeah? Well, that's it from me. Yeah? Thank you very much, yeah, for being with me for the past 1 hour. I wish you all the best for your speaking paper. Thank you once again. Assalamualaikum and have a nice day.